Everything about the girl I told you about, I wrote down in this notebook.
There is nothing out of the ordinary in the book. Just an ordinary notebook. The front cover had a name written on it. Sherlie. I opened the pages one by one, reading randomly. It was like a diary filled with conversations written down in great detail. I thought for a moment, why did Allan have to make such detailed notes? I came to a quick conclusion about this notebook. This book tells about his experience of getting a call from a girl he didn't recognize at all. However, the girl knew Allan very well. Not felt, time flies so quickly. Today at 8:15 a.m., I saw Allan packing up and getting ready to leave his house. The weather today is so cool. I rushed over to Allan to just help him pack some bags and suitcases that he would put in the trunk of the car. Are you really going to leave here?
My family has decided.
I still can't believe Allan is leaving. I then saw Allan's father shaking hands with my father. The two of them were indeed very familiar. They were talking to each other excitedly. They were laughing at each other. His father asked Allan to follow him up the car.
Come on, Allan, let's go.
I will visit you. At one time.
Very cliched answer. Feelings of emotion, mixed with feelings of joy surged in my chest, because my best friend was going to continue his education in a big city. I wish you all the best, Allan. I continued to encourage him to always be enthusiastic. While waving his hand, Allan looked at me with emotion. Their car then sped away from our farm. I just found out, it turns out that the house they left has been sold to my father at such a low price. To this day, I don't even know what Allan's new cell phone number is. I can't reach him. For some reason, Allan didn't want to tell me his cell phone number. He just said he would visit me. However, who knows when. Allan left leaving a number of mysteries. What's wrong with him? It's been a week since Allan left Vermont to attend school in Virginia. I can no longer communicate with Allan. I cannot contact him, even if only by writing. He didn't leave any traces. Meanwhile, I continued my secondary school here, and helped my father tend the cows and sheep on our farm. Maybe, I'll also move to school outside of Vermont when it's time to go to university. My family is actually a family that is quite well off in terms of economy. However, I am used to living in the village, and tending my own cows and sheep. Or accompanied by Allan. But for now I'm tending the sheep alone, sitting under a tree eating my favorite apple pie while watching the clouds, and the wide expanses of green grass. The wind that blows is very cool as usual. The sheep I feed are engrossed in eating the green grass that thrives. The sheep won't come out of this pasture, because the pasture on my farm has a fence around it. Behind the fence, there is a large highway. The house that Allan and his family used to live in, is still in our ranch area. The house is now left empty just like that. Allan didn't leave anything for me. Allan really left without leaving a trace. All he left behind was a notebook full of question marks. I remember that note. I then took the notebook out of my bag. I want to read it again. I thought Allan must be hiding something. There is a riddle that he hid behind the writing in this notebook. I totally understand Allan. He is a very realistic person. He also does not like fictional stories, especially mystery stories. However, looking at his writing, I felt that he was hiding something this time. I will read the writing in this notebook that he wrote, from beginning to end. I saw that there were lots of scribbles at the beginning of his notes, like misspelled sentences which he corrected himself by scribbling the sentences. I tried to read the sentence, but I failed. Other sentences are unreadable because they are so thickly crossed out. I just ignore the post. I opened another page, until when I found a note about a girl. I started reading the first pages one by one when he got to know the girl named Sherlie. If I remember back then, somehow Allan suddenly told me about Sherlie, which he himself has never met or just seen her picture. He originally suddenly accused me of ordering a girl and a boy to play with him. However, I dismissed it by saying that Allan's number at that time could not be contacted by anyone, including me. He looked pale after hearing that. Strangely, after that incident, he even asked me to accompany him to meet Sherlie in Oklahoma. I think he's digressing a bit, because it's almost 1,600 miles from Woodstock to Oklahoma. What reason compels us to meet Sherlie, the girl he doesn't really recognize? The sound of sheep calling to each other interrupted my thoughts. A cool breeze plus a delicious apple pie. Elle accompanied me to read this note. I unfolded the first page of his story and began to read Allan's notes. It turned out that this incident happened 2 years ago.
Woodstock, late spring, 2004. I just turned 18 when my dad gave me a cell phone made in Europe as a gift. I'm sure this is the newest type of cell phone. The code of this phone is 7610 and it is made in 2004. The features are also very good. There is a front camera for taking pictures of faces, there is a browser for surfing the internet, and most importantly there is an automatic music player which is very popular among young people. Turns out I also got a starter pack with a unique phone number. I opened my phone's battery cover. I installed the SIM card, then started activating my cell phone to test it.
Allan, don't turn on your phone during a rainstorm.
My father half shouted. I had already activated my cell phone. The signal on my cell phone was surprisingly weak. Of course, it would be very dangerous if I left the house just to find a cell phone signal during a storm. I intended to get closer to the window so my phone would get a better signal. Unexpectedly, suddenly a bolt of lightning struck and instantly made my house pitch black. My father and mother were shocked.
Allan, are you okay?
My mom is worried about me. I'm fine. Fortunately, it only took a few moments for the electricity to return to normal. Strangely, my cell phone also died, even though I had my phone turned on. I don't dare to turn my phone back on now. I'll wait for the storm to subside. After the storm died down, I reactivated my cell phone. However, something is strange. All functions on the cell phone keypad don't respond. The date and year on my phone are showing wrong numbers. The year jumps away and doesn't respond when I set it to the correct year. The cell phone signal also becomes very full and doesn't decrease in the slightest. Strange, usually cell phone signal is very poor. In fact, my dad used to go out to the pasture of my neighbor's ranch just to make a phone call. But I don't think it's a problem, as long as the music player runs normally. After all, nothing has changed on my phone.
Maybe this is why Allan said at that time his cell phone became strange. At that time, Allan had said to me that the cell phone that his father gave him as a birthday present was not functioning normally and he could not receive calls from anyone. I continued reading his notes.
There's something strange with my cell phone, even though the signal is full, but no one can reach me. My father was surprised and said that my cell phone was never activated. He also said, if my phone number cannot be reached. However, my phone is always on. Something strange also happened when I tried to call someone. I only heard a dial tone, no answer whatsoever. Is my phone broken? Or is there something else? I'm taking my phone to town for repair.
I thought for a moment. The notes.
Woodstock, late spring. Today is the weirdest day of all. When I woke up from my sleep I noticed that there were 3 missed calls from a foreign number on my cell phone. Can't my phone receive calls from anyone? Is my phone back to normal now? I haven't had time to answer my question. Suddenly I was shocked when there was a ringing sound from my cell phone. Very strange, this is the first time someone has called me and the number is unknown. I don't know what area this call was from, but definitely not the Woodstock area or the state of Vermont. The same number as the number that was missed earlier. It means that this number has contacted me many times. Okay, I'll accept it. I'm also curious. Hello?
Hello? Allan?
So gentle voice rang out as she answered. A young girl's voice.
I'm Sherlie. You're Allan, right?
Who is Sherlie? I don't know that name, so how does she know mine? I immediately turned off the phone. I don't understand what all this means. Is it possible that my best friend is trying to prank me?
Allan really wrote everything down in detail. Up here, I feel Allan insert a code to me. I don't know what that means, because the story is so detailed and clear. I went back to reading his notes.
My cell phone is ringing again. Still from the same number, a girl named Sherlie who claims to know me. I'll ignore it this time. I'm afraid that someone is playing with me. However, to be honest, I was curious. Her soft voice fascinates me. I finally decided to answer the phone.
Hello, Allan. Why did you turn off the phone?
Who do you know me from?
Is it true? You don't know me.
I heard something. There was someone other than her at this time. Faintly, a female voice seemed to guide her to say something. However, I couldn't hear it clearly.
I'm Sherlie you've been looking for.
I really don't know you.
All right then, no problem for me.
Then how do you know me?
You don't need to know how I know you, Allan.
I don't understand who told her my name. I think I've been played. I ended the chat and turned off my phone. She called again. I'll just ignore it this time. But wait, if I ignore it, there isn't enough evidence to jump to any conclusion about it. I'm also getting curious. So, I just took the call, and started talking to her. I know someone is playing with me and telling you to keep calling me, right?
Who's playing you? I'm serious.
You mean it?
Why am I kidding you?
Alright, Sherlie. This time I will try to believe you. I actually don't fully believe it. However, I was completely mesmerized by her gentle voice. I imagined her face to be as beautiful and gentle as her voice. I think Sherlie is a friendly girl. I'm also starting to feel comfortable when talking to her. She's like any other girl. However, I still have my suspicions about her. How old are you?
Does it matter?
In that case, I will no longer accept your calls.
All right, don't sulk. I'm currently 18.
Is it a coincidence? I'm 18 too.
You're lying. Aren't you 28?
Who said I'm that old? Can't you tell the difference between an old man's voice and a young man's voice? She was silent for a moment, like she didn't believe what I just said. What is your purpose of calling me?
I just want to know you.
Didn't you say you already know me?
I want to know you deeper. What if we continue our introduction via the messaging application?
What is a messaging application?
Messaging app for chatting.
I was speechless, did not answer because I was confused. I really don't understand what her is talking about apps. Where do you live?
I live in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma? No wonder. She lives in a big city. Tech development there is growing faster. There's something that hasn't gotten here yet. Even so, her speech style sounded too forced, as if she was being forced to speak. It was obvious someone told her to call me. However, for what?
I stopped reading his notes for a moment. Allan seemed to give me a code. Is it just my feelings? Could it be that I'm getting too into this story? I keep asking myself. But it's clear to me, the notes that Allan made contain a code that he seems to have prepared for the person who reads his notes. But what? What does the code mean? Did not feel it was already late afternoon. The cold air that blows already makes me a little cold. I decided to go home and continue reading this note the next day. I immediately called my sheep with a bell, to make them go into their respective pens. I then closed their cage, and rushed back to my house to take a shower and rest.